Good afternoon. Thanks, Siobhan Bryan. We'll get to your top stories here in just a moment. But first, let's check on your First Alert forecast. Let's take a live look over uptown Charlotte. A beautiful day out there. First Alert meteorologist Rachel Coulter joins us live outside with an update. Rachel?
Yeah, I'm on the DeMayo Law Outdoor Studio. It is beautiful out here. I know we just showed you that view from our uptown Charlotte skyline there, and it's just absolutely gorgeous out here. Lots of sunshine. It's dry. The calm winds as well. It's just feeling fantastic. Temperatures on either side of that 60-degree mark across the Carolinas. We're going to be dropping back into those mid-50s as we continue into the next couple of hours. And then by the time we make it to about 9 o'clock, we're back into those upper 40s. It does get cold again tonight. So heading out the door tomorrow morning, getting ready for work, getting ready for school, we are forecasting low temperatures back in the 30s in most locations. Of course, this is going to be a little bit above where we were here the past couple of starts. We woke up around freezing this morning. I know we've been below freezing several mornings so far this week, so finally above freezing. It's still going to warrant the coats though. Then we start to warm up even more. High temperatures back in the 60s tomorrow afternoon. Also going to be tracking a chance for rain. So Siobhan, here in just a few minutes, I'm going to walk through the latest hour-by-hour look at your Friday morning commute, and of course what that cold front does to those temperatures this weekend coming up.
Rachel, thank you. A man is in custody after deputies say he shot at them this morning in Union County. Deputies say this happened this morning in a neighborhood off of Mallard Circle and Indian Trail. We have it mapped out for you here. As soon as we heard about this, we sent Jason Puckett to go out there and learn more, and he has this update.
Yeah, guys, thankfully, I want to start this off by saying that the sheriff's deputies who were out here responding, as well as the residents in this area, sheriff's office confirms there were no injuries. No one was shot in this circumstance. But the details they give us tell us that earlier this morning here on Mallard Circle and Indian Trail, deputies were responding to a disturbance call. When they got here, an individual actually took off into the woods and started firing back at them. Lieutenant May with the sheriff's office telling us those deputies were able to get behind cars, barricades, even trees, weren't hit, but were receiving a large amount of bullets coming their way. So he said he's very thankful that no one was injured today. As far as the shooter themselves, we don't know much right now. We know that person did surrender and was taken into custody. Lieutenant Mee tells us he's actually at a local hospital right now being evaluated, and as soon as that person is released later today, that they will be arrested and face charges, and we'll have the identity of the person at that point. We're also going to be talking with neighbors out in this area. A question you may be wondering, Lieutenant May confirmed that the deputies did not fire back at this individual. He says they evaluated the neighborhood, realized it was a residential place, and they were worried by firing back they could put some other innocent person in danger. Of course, we'll have more for you on this story as we get it. For now, here though in Indian Trail, I'm Jason Puckett, WBTV, on your side.
Jason, thank you. No students were hurt, but another person was after a crash involving a CMS bus this morning in the Cotswold area. Take a look at video that WBTV cameras were able to get of the scene. This is at the intersection of Randolph Road and McCoway Road. You can see the crash sent a Lexus on its side. CMS tells WBTV the bus was headed to Piedmont Middle School when it stopped at that intersection. That's when two cars reportedly crashed in front of the bus. The driver and 3 students on board were not injured and ultimately made it to class. The crash remains under investigation, and of course we'll let you know as we learn more. And we're following a developing story after a deadly shooting in Northeast Charlotte. We've been talking to police, and we know CMPD investigators are now calling this a homicide. Officers say this happened at the Cortland Mallard Creek Apartments around 10:30 last night. Police found a man shot when they got there. Medic pronounced the victim dead on scene. According to investigators, the suspect and victim may have known one another. At last check, officers were not looking for anyone else, but they are asking the community for any information they can provide.
If we have first-hand knowledge of what happened, or if someone witnessed it or heard something, saw something, a neighbor heard something, or we absolutely want to know that information because it could help with our investigation.
And we're asking police if the shooter will face charges or whether this may have been a case of self-defense, and we'll let you know as soon as we get those answers. Meanwhile, both tap rooms run by a popular Charlotte brewery remain closed today. The co-owner and founder of Wooden Robot died yesterday at one of its locations. Medic responded to a call for a fall at the brewery's South End location off of Tryon Street. This is video from that scene around 3:30 Tuesday afternoon. Wooden Robot later announced that co-founder Dan Wade was killed in that tragic incident. Right now, both CMPD and North Carolina's OSHA are investigating. Now, there has been a major outpouring of support for Wooden Robot as other Charlotte breweries offered their condolences. These are just a few of the posts that many local businesses have shared on social media. The posts showing Wooden Robot's logo inside of a heart. Wooden Robot now asking for thoughts and prayers for Wade's family. The brewery has been a staple in the Charlotte community since 2015. We'll let you know when they plan to reopen their tap rooms. Today, a man is expected in court after CMPD says he was caught breaking into cars at a hospital parking deck. According to court documents, 7 cars had their windows smashed and were broken into at Atrium Health Maine's parking deck in Dilworth last month. Reports show that after looking at surveillance footage, CMPD saw 3 men drive onto the lot in a suspected stolen vehicle. Officers say the video then showed them breaking into cars. CMPD was able to identify one of the men as Shahid Ivy. Police say they were able to easily identify Ivy because they say they caught him breaking into cars at the same hospital back in December. CMPD is crediting its task force Scarlet for being able to track him down. Scarlet stands for Stolen Car and Recovery Law Enforcement Team. CMPD created it last April to tackle vehicle break-ins and high-end vehicle theft. During its end-of-the-year crime report, CMPD says Scarlet recovered 180 vehicles and made 85 arrests connected to these types of crimes. Meanwhile, Lincoln County detectives need your help. They're looking for Jacob Lockman, who was last seen in the Iron Station area. Investigators say troopers responded to a crash in Salem. When they got there, they found a car that crashed into a bridge, but they didn't find a driver or any passengers. Just a day later, Lockman's father reported him missing. There's a picture of him on your screen here. Deputies believe Lockman may have been hurt in that wreck. We're told Lockman is 6 feet tall, has brown hair, hazel eyes. If you know anything, you're asked to call the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office. First at 4, some disappointing results coming out of Tega Cay this afternoon. Sharpshooters weren't able to cull as many deer as city officials had hoped. Those in the community have complained about the deer problem there for years now, with many worrying about the growing number of car crashes involving deer and the mess that the animals leave behind in neighborhoods' yards. In December, City Council approved an agreement with the USDA to cull 80 deer with the help of a sharpshooter at the Tega Cay golf course. Then last month, the city got permission to double that number. The operation came with a price tag of nearly $95,000. But listen to this. During last night's City Council meeting, we learned during the first round, only 21 deer were culled. In the second round, even fewer were shot and killed, bringing the total to 38, which is way under the city's goal of 160. During last night's meeting, those behind the program blamed the shortcomings on limitations put in place due to safety. Sharpshooters were limited to only culling at the golf course and say they were only allowed to work during a small window of time each day. Deer culling expert Dr. Anthony DiNicola agreed that those limitations created a lot of challenges.
If you put excessive constraints on it, it gets to the point where it's just not going to be successful. And for me, I'm not going to dart one deer in your community unless there's a plan and an agreement that this could potentially be effective.
Because of the slim results, the city said it needs to look into other options in the future. Leaders suggested either giving the USDA more flexibility to cull the deer or look into non-lethal options like birth control. City leaders say they'll look into it and bring forth suggestions in the future. And we're learning more about a plan to make Sugar Creek neighborhoods safer for people who live there. And city officials in Charlotte say that's why they tore down 2 motels in that area recently. Crews recently demolished the Budget Inn and Economy Inn motels. These are off Reagan Drive in Northwest Charlotte. WBTV did a crime map search of the area and found more than 500 crimes reported in the area, including drug busts, shootings, and human trafficking. City planners say they've decided to put affordable housing where those motels used to stand.
We really had a focus on for sale, affordable housing. So really brought to light that townhouses were kind of a good product, as you might say, to put on that property.
The city says it's worked with crisis management groups and community activists to address the concerns that some people may be getting forced out of the area. The Economy and Budget Inn won't be the only motels demolished. Other hotels along Sugar Creek are in the process of being purchased and will soon be developed. Meanwhile, Nikki Haley will be out talking to voters in key South Carolina towns today. As she does, she's sending a strong message to the GOP frontrunner Donald Trump. Haley says no matter what happens, she's not dropping out. Haley was in Clemson on Tuesday trying to drum up support before the GOP primary in the Palmetto State. It's only 3 days away. It's on Saturday. Haley told voters that no matter what happens this weekend, she has no intention of dropping out of the race.
South Carolina will vote on Saturday, but on Sunday, I'll still be running for president. I'm not going anywhere.
Now, many polls showed Trump with a substantial lead ahead of Saturday's election. Haley has just 23% of support in the state, according to research data from Florida Atlantic University. And around the Carolinas, cornhole is big business. Down in Rock Hill, they even hold the World Championships, which ESPN covers. But now 2 teenagers from Colorado have become the first to receive an athletic scholarship to play the lawn game at Winthrop University. And it's safe to say they're pretty excited about it.
Jackson Remick and Gavin Hammond never thought they'd be making cornhole history.
Definitely not. We were shocked that we even got this opportunity to take something that we were doing as like a side hobby and something for fun as like a sport that we play in college.
The pair met while playing in a local bar and restaurant's cornhole tournament.
We became friends because of cornhole.
They soon discovered a passion for the game and a skill for playing together.
It's just very straightforward, but there's also a lot to it. A lot of stuff mentally. There's a lot of strategy. Get a comfortable grip, and then I throw and do a little flick.
Remick and Hammond won back-to-back National High School Cornhole Championships, along with 2 other Denver, Colorado area students.
We've kind of like made a name for ourselves.
It got them noticed by South Carolina's Winthrop University, more than 1,500 miles away, which flew them out to play a game and make them an offer they couldn't refuse. 2 first-of-their-kind scholarships to play on the university's newly created cornhole team.
We just kind of fell in love with it from there, and we were both excited to take this opportunity and kind of pave the pathway for this to become a college sport.
The pair committed to Winthrop on National Signing Day. Their scholarships will cover about 60% of the cost to attend.
We're gonna go in August.
Yeah.
And now the friends are counting down to the days they get to Winthrop in the fall. And along with being cornhole partners, they say they plan to also be roommates. Meanwhile, here's your reminder that early voting for the primary closes tomorrow. All early voting locations will be open from 8:30 to 6 tomorrow. You can find your polling place on scvotes.com. And if you participated in the Democratic race earlier this month, you cannot vote again. Remember, you have to bring a valid photo ID with you. And again, a reminder that the primary election date for South Carolina Republicans is Saturday, the 24th. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden has canceled another $1.2 billion in student loan debt. That means 153,000 people who have loans to pay off will see significant relief. The program that's allowing these debts to be paid off is called the Saving on a Valuable Education Plan. It pays the remaining federal student loans that someone who has loans worth $12,000 or less. The Biden administration says it's paid off $138 billion of federal student loan debt for 4 million people. We're on your side with the warning signs you may experience in a cardiac emergency. February is American Heart Month. It's a time to raise awareness about heart health. And in last week's installment of Safety First, I showed you how to properly use an AED and the importance of learning CPR. This week, WBTV's Alex Giles spoke to a doctor with Atrium Health about how to recognize a cardiac emergency and how to prevent one altogether.
Dr. Dermot Phelan is the medical director of cardiovascular imaging at Atrium Health. He's very familiar with cardiac emergencies.
Sudden cardiac arrest affects about 1,000 Americans every day.
Phelan has been a part of cardiovascular advisory committees for the NFL and NBA. He says recent cardiac emergencies involving star athletes like football player Damar Hamlin and basketball star Bronny James have increased awareness about heart health in young athletes.
Why do people who are in peak physical condition have this happen?
So a number of different reasons. Most of the time, it's related to an underlying cardiac condition that they were unaware of. So most of the time it's something that they were born with, and as we said, oftentimes these can be detected on pre-participation screening, but not always.
Atrium Health now holds special screenings for student athletes during its Heart of a Champion event. Phelan says community members need to learn more about how to recognize a sudden cardiac arrest and respond to it.
At what point would you say you need to get that checked out?
Yeah, I think if this feels abnormal to you, I mean, if you're pushing it hard, we're all going to feel short of breath, right? We're all going to feel our heart beating in our chest. But if it feels abnormal, so if those heartbeats feel like they're not beating in a regular fashion, or if you're having symptoms of chest pain that doesn't feel right, or if you have a fainting episode during exercise, they're kind of the big red flags that we want to be paying attention to.
He says he doesn't want to scare people out of exercising. He just wants people to know what to look out for.
At the very, very extremes of exercise, there may be a slight increased risk of some of these rhythm disturbances, but for most people, that risk is extraordinarily small, and the benefits of exercise are way outweigh any risks.
Phelan says patients also need to be cognizant of family history. According to the CDC, having a family history of heart disease makes you more likely to develop heart disease. Atrium Health also promotes eating a heart-healthy diet. Eating the proper foods can help boost your immune system and prevent heart disease. For Safety First, I'm Alex Giles, WBTV, on your side.
And Dr. Phelan says it's so important for people to understand how to do CPR and use an AED. For more on that process, just check out my Safety First story from last week. You can find it right now on our website, WBTV.com. In the meantime, we're looking ahead to more warm weather heading our way for the rest of the week. We made it to the high 50s again today, and I have been loving it, Rachel.
It's gorgeous.
So obviously, First Alert meteorologist Rachel Coulter is joining us here, bringing us the good news of this lovely weather. So is it going to hold for the rest of the week?
For the most part, it's going to be interesting. We're going to actually be a little bit warmer Thursday and Friday, just with a chance of rain. You'll notice more cloud cover. It'll be a little breezy. And then we turn cooler again, upper 50s. So temperature-wise, similar to what we had today and yesterday and the day before yesterday, because we were in the upper 50s here the past couple of days this weekend. And then next week, we'll really warm up. Upper 60s, if not the 70s. This ridge is going to be building overhead, and that's really going to lift those temperatures. But we also have a couple of opportunities for rainfall. So one of the most noticeable ones will be tomorrow night and into Friday morning. Now, how much into that Friday morning commute will we have that rainfall? That is still up to question a little bit. I do think most of the rain is going to be to the east of the area, but it's possible that some of our southeastern counties, if you're listening in from Chesterfield County out towards Anson County, you'd have a better chance of seeing some of those lingering impacts getting to work and school. And then we're done. And you'll notice we've added a 20% chance of rain on Saturday. There's a reason for this. There's going to be a quick moving disturbance that moves overhead. You'll notice an increase in cloud cover and a few showers out there. It would be so short-lived, very low impact, but I don't want anyone to be caught off guard, especially if you have outdoor plans on Saturday, that we have that potential as those temperatures fall 10 degrees behind that cold front. Upper 50s for Sunday. We're going to stay dry into the start of next week, and it looks like Wednesday, if not Thursday of next week, yet another cold front moves through. Could we get some storms with that? It's looking possible. So check back in with us for updates. In the meantime, it is beautiful out there. Lots of sunshine, dry conditions, temperatures staying in the upper 50s, at least for the next hour or so. Ultimately, here by 7, 8 o'clock, we'll see those temperatures drop into the low 50s and then the 40s for the rest of those late evening plans. Heading out the door tomorrow morning, it's going to be a cold start, just not as cold as what we've been used to. 37 degrees heading out the door in Charlotte, 34 out towards Hickory, 32 degrees for those of you listening in from Jefferson and Boone. You'll see temperatures back in those mid 50s tomorrow afternoon, and the rest of the area should be able to make it into those mid to upper 60s. 65 is our forecast high temperature in Charlotte, 63 out towards Hickory and Lenore and Morganton. It's going to be a nice day and an above average day. You'll just notice over the course of the day, we'll see more and more of that cloud cover, and a stray shower is possible. The best chance of that's going to be late with high temperatures in those mid 60s. Once we get towards Friday morning, notice because of all of that cloud cover, we're going to see temperatures only drop to the low 50s, upper 60s by Friday afternoon, with that potential for some rain overnight. And then by Saturday, we do cool off just because that cold front would have moved through. We're still dry now. High pressure remains in control, just some clouds filtering in out of the west. I want to time this out though, because you'll notice more cloud cover tomorrow. The winds are going to be picking up. We could have wind gusts over 20 miles per hour at times. There's 6 o'clock and you'll notice the clouds that would have moved overhead, but it won't be until about 11 o'clock where you start to notice more of that rain. So if you're typically out and about 9, 10, 11 o'clock on a Thursday night, you'll see some sprinkles on the windshield, but the rain rates will pick up overnight, but most of this is out of the way by your Friday morning commute. In fact, this is 7 o'clock, and this is why we think our southeastern counties could still see some lingering impacts, certainly in our mountains. Now that those winds will be shifting out of the north and west, you could see some rain, and as those temperatures drop, a few flurries. Can't be ruled out. We'll have another chance of that as we work our way towards Friday evening. And then the next chance for at least a few passing, quick moving, low impact showers would be on Saturday. At this point, it looks like in the afternoon hours, that Charlotte FC game looks okay. Temperatures in the upper 50s on Saturday, waking up in the low 30s on Sunday. Breakfast, church plans, grab the coats, heading out the door, back to the 50s by the afternoon. Sunday looks very similar to what we have today. And here the past couple of days, just really gorgeous weather out there. And then the warm up begins again. 10 degrees warmer by Monday afternoon. We're looking at the upper 60s, low 70s Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, out ahead of that next cold front that looks to bring impacts as we head towards the extended forecast. Looks like late Wednesday and over into Thursday is our next best chance of rain. Siobhan?
Rachel, thank you. WBTV is on your side getting results after neighbors complained about a dangerous pothole repair in their neighborhood. They say the initial fix was bad and caused a 12-year-old boy to break both of his arms. WBTV's Jason Puckett got involved, and this week, the North Carolina Department of Transportation sent out a crew to fix the problem.
The residents here in the Marvin Creek neighborhood tell us they are thankful the NCDOT came out and did some repairs, and they're thankful that they filled those potholes better than they were before. But many of the folks also say they are still remembering that it was the NCDOT's repair that caused such a headache in the first place. On Friday, Amanda Richard told us how potholes near her house in Marvin went from annoying to dangerous last year when NCDOT attempted to repair them.
It was just filled with a lot of pebbles.
The pebbles and gravel spread across the road, making it difficult to stop, even causing a 12-year-old boy to crash on his bicycle and break both of his wrists. Richard was nervous about calling NCDOT again, even though the road was breaking down. But after our story Friday...
So they came out yesterday. Obviously, they probably saw the story and were motivated by that. And they came out and did a repair.
Amanda's husband, Roy, shared that Monday an NCDOT crew came back by, looked at the road, and put down a more thorough repair.
The neighbors have been saying that they're very happy to see this, getting some coverage and people paying attention to this because it is a known problem in our neighborhood.
The picture from the first repair shows mostly loose gravel. The new repair has more tar holding it together and isn't as loose.
It's definitely better than the first attempt. Absolutely it is.
Richard says they're thankful NCDOT made these repairs, but feels they're temporary at best.
It's going to get chewed up. It's just a matter of time. The quick Band-Aid jobs they're doing right now are, it's kind of kicking the can down the road, but at the end of the day, these streets need to be repaved. That's all there is to it.
Now, we reached back out to the NCDOT to see if there will be any more long-term repairs or potentially even having part of this road redone. They said they are actively looking into that right now and will let us know. We'll, of course, bring you that information as soon as we have it. For now, here in Marvin, I'm Jason Puckett, WBTV, on your side.
All right, Jason, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us for this live stream of your news and weather, first at 4. Be sure to join us live at 5 right here on WBTV, coming up at the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us.